Have you ever finished putting on your foundation, looked in the mirror and thought, wow, I actually looked better before I put this foundation on my skin, and what's the point now? This looks horrible on my skin. If you've ever hated the way your liquid foundation looks throughout the day or after it's freshly applied, don't worry, I got you. These are my ultimate tips and tricks and all the techniques that you need to know in order to not ever hate the way your foundation looks on your skin. So regardless of the formula, regardless of what foundation you wear, what foundation you have on your shelf that you've been avoiding because you hate the way it looks on your skin, whatever the formula is, these tips will set you up for success to help you love the way any foundation that you have, any liquid formula that you have looks on your skin. So sit back, relax, but grab a pen and paper because I'm going to give you all my tips and techniques on how to always love the way your foundation looks on your skin. Number one, exfoliate your skin. And I don't mean the St. Ives, insert like that scary tube of St. Ives apricot scrub that if you were a 90s kid, you know what I'm talking about. You could smell it right now and you could feel those scratchy wood-like particles hitting your face. Not that, not physical. I mean liquid. Liquids are much more forgiving, much more, I don't know, less intense, less like grinding on your skin. They don't feel like sandpaper on your skin. This is the way to go. This is the way to exfoliate in the future, in the 2025 year that we're in. If you're watching this video currently, if you're watching the future. But liquid exfoliators are such an underrated product and an underrated step to making your makeup, specifically your foundation, look good so you don't hate the way it looks on your skin. And I want to touch on one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video in the first place. It's because I read and I talk to a lot of you in the community, both on YouTube and also on other platforms in direct messages. I talk to a lot of you and a lot of you are like, you know, I would rather just not wear foundation because I hate the way it looks on my skin. I hate the way it sits on my skin. And, or you'll buy the foundation that I use on my channel, the one that you see me use and love and rave about. And then you'll message me and say that it doesn't look the same on your skin. If you did all these steps, I promise you, I literally promise you, you will love the way your foundation looks on your skin. After that whole rant, number one is liquid exfoliators. Now, these two are my powerhouses and my no fails and the ones that I recommend the most. They're a little bit pricier, so I will make sure that I include on the screen an alternative to these that is very affordable that you can get at the drugstore from Naturium. It's one I've used forever and forever. It's the BHA Classic Liquid Exfoliator. Now, these two are just my holy grails at this point. I love all liquid exfoliators, but these are honestly like my go-tos that I grab the most, that I repurchase the most, and that I recommend the most because I know they're going to work for everyone involved. So it may not work for everyone's budget, which is why the Naturium one is an awesome one to pick up instead, but these are just legit. Now, my personal favorite, because I love AHA exfoliators, alpha hydroxy acid exfoliators. These are really good for fine lines. They're really good for skin smoothing and skin texture smoothing. If you have larger pores, it's going to help to smooth that as well. So I like this one, especially down my neck, on my face, on my hands, everywhere that I need to exfoliate. I will bring this product, and I recommend this one the most, and it's just my most tried and true personal favorite. But there's also BHA. BHA, in my opinion, from what I've experienced, I feel like is a little bit more intense. Like the feeling could be a bit more intense to get used to. So for that reason, I usually end up recommending this one a bit more. And BHA is beta hydroxy acid. This one's also really great for like if you have acne prone skin, if you're prone to blemishes and things like that. This is going to be one that's going to be great to pick up. If you're not, I just feel like this one is a little bit more easy to adjust to. So if you're not used to liquid exfoliators and you want to like baby step your way in, first and foremost, make sure you're not shocking your skin. Make sure you're incorporating these slowly into your routine so you're not overdoing it and compromising your skin's barrier all at once. Slow and steady. Don't just pile them on your face. If you've never used a liquid exfoliator, it could really shock your skin, to be honest. I find that this one I can use every single day. My skin has also built up a tolerance to liquid exfoliators where it's not super sensitive. It's not hypersensitive really to much at all. And my skin loves a liquid exfoliator on a daily basis. And if you can't get to that point, that's also fine. But I want you to incorporate a liquid exfoliator at least 3 to 4 times a week if you can. Just what I've experienced is the best result when wearing makeup, especially foundations on top. You want to make make sure you're not doing it just once a week, twice a week. You need more than that, to be quite honest. If you want glow to your skin, if you want skin smoothness, if you want pore refinement, texture refinement, and you want more bright, less dull looking skin, then you have to do it more than 1 to 2 times a week. 1 to 2 times is just not going to be, it's just not going to give you the ticket to ride the train to smooth skin to then beautiful foundation to lay on top. And then an honorable mention that I'm almost out of that I've quickly become obsessed with this formula, to be quite honest. This one is much more pricey, just a forewarning. So if you don't want to spend the big bucks, go for one of these. And if you want to spend even less, go for the Naturium one that I'm going to link in the description box below. But this one is really, really amazing. I use this one at night and I love the way it makes my skin glow. It also offers really beautiful hydration. I find this one is really easy to incorporate into my routine without any irritation. So it's very mild in my opinion as well. So if you want something a little bit more mild, very soothing, very anti-aging while exfoliating and giving you like a brighter look to your skin, this is a really great one to pick up. It's from Fresh. It's the Lotus Youth Preserve Refining Dream Toner. I use this one at night, like I mentioned. You could use it during the day. I just find this one's like my nighttime go-to for neck, hands, and everywhere on my face. All right, now that you know all the details about why I love these ones, let me show you how to apply a liquid exfoliator the right way where you get the best results and the most even application. You can either use one of these bad boys right here. I usually save these for removing my makeup with micellar water, but you could definitely use something like this for liquid exfoliators as well. They're the Garnier Skin Active Micellar Cleansing Eco Pads, so they're reusable. You throw them in the washing machine, just try not to forget about them. For me, they get caught up in like the wheel of the washing machine and I forget they're there because I can't see them. So make sure if you're washing these, you put them in a bag, like a washing machine kind of bag, which I don't have. The easiest way is just obviously to get like the disposable ones. These are like cotton rounds. You can get them anywhere. They're super duper affordable. But to me, this is the best, most foolproof, most accurate way to exfoliate your skin with a liquid exfoliator. So you're going to take your liquid exfoliator of choice. You're going to want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that, okay? It's not gonna be perfect. It's not super technical. Just make sure it's like properly coated and you're not scratching your skin with a dry cotton round. And to me, it's usually about 6 to 8 of those. So do 6 to 8 of those and that should be enough to get you going. Now what you wanna do is just gently, don't go in like this. Don't be wild and crazy. Just gently bring this all over your skin. Don't forget about your ears around this area. Oh my gosh, around your sideburns. Do not forget this area. This area goes very overlooked and you need to exfoliate this skin as well. Bring it along your jawline, bring it down your neck, bring it everywhere you have skin that is attached and near your face. But I also like to bring it on the tops of my hands to exfoliate my hands. But foundation doesn't go on your hands, so just don't worry about that. We'll save it for another time. So bring it all over, gently drag it across the forehead, between the brows. And for me, I like to go back and forth in any problem areas a few more times. So for example, my chin, I get a lot, that's where I get breakouts, that's where I get pimples, and that's where my skin tends to get a little clogged, a little congested. I'll go a little extra in this area of concern. So wherever that area of concern is for you, just take a little extra time to properly make sure it's exfoliated. Around my nose, another big hot spot. When I get to my nose, I like to fold the cotton round, kind of scoop it around that tight little hidden area, okay? Get around your lips, between the brows, like I mentioned. Get everywhere, every bit of your face. Now, I just had a little bit of sunscreen on my face before filming, and look at how much that took off and just cleansed my skin. And I didn't even have any makeup on except for like my eye makeup, obviously, and a little like tinted lip balm. So that's crazy to see. That was a clean face, and that still took off so much excess. I don't even know what. All right, so we got that one done, out of the way. Check it off the list. And consider yourself on the right path to loving the way your foundation looks on your skin, regardless of the formula and regardless of your skin type. Number 2 is a little bit more controversial and a little bit not as accepted as I would hope it to be. Something that I've talked about for a long time, since my channel has been up and running, to be quite honest. I feel like I've been talking about this and this tip specifically for that long. And that is, don't hate me for this next one, okay? Because there's a lot of you out there that are very spooked this next tip. But don't be afraid to shave your face. I promise you, I am holding your hand. I'm going to give you a big hug when you're done shaving your face. But I promise you, shaving your face is one of the most underrated tips to get you to love the way your makeup, specifically your foundation, looks on your skin. If you're not shaving your face, chances are you're going to have some problem areas that you're going to run into. And chances are some areas specifically, more specifically, are going to look really patchy when you go to put foundation on top, or liquid bronzers, cream bronzers, or even cream blushes. Okay, those areas in particular where your makeup will look extremely patchy if you're not handling the face shaving is the forehead, all these little baby hairs, and I get tons of little baby hairs all around here, and especially around the temple as well. So this area right here, this is where you're going to get a lot of patchiness with your formulas, your liquid foundation, or even your cream foundation. Even your powder is not going to look and lay as nice and flawless as it possibly can in these areas specifically, and this area right here. So listen, if you have sideburns like me, if you got these bad boys right here, here's what you're going to do. You're going to grab them, you're going to tuck them away. And if you need to clip them out of the way in order to make sure you don't shave these off, then you clip them out of the way. Now let me show you how to shave your face, because I'm telling you, if you do it, you will never go back to not shaving your face. We'll shout this to the rooftops. It will not grow back thicker. Sorry to yell at you. I hate it when I go on other platforms and people are yelling at me and like stressing me out. It like revs my anxiety and raises my cortisol through the roof. So I'm so sorry to yell at you. Please forgive me, but I'm telling you, it's an old wives' tale. Your hair will not grow back thicker. It just won't. What you will feel if you hit an area where you have a thicker hair and you end up shaving that, the blunt tip of that hair growing back. That's normal. That's not it growing back thicker. That means you're just feeling the blunt tip of that hair being shaved coming back out. When your hair is fully grown out, the tip of it softens. It feels like delicate, more silky, feels thinner. But when it's growing out, you feel that blunt tip of it. So that in turn tricks your mind into thinking that it's growing back thicker. It's not. You're just feeling the bluntness of that hair coming back through because it hasn't had a chance to soften once it's fully grown out. I don't know about you, but I feel so relieved that we got to talk about this. It's not talked about enough, and so I wanted to just really throw that disclaimer out there because it's a big one that I get asked about on this to this day. So, 2 options for shaving your face. They're going to be very similar. These are like these classic little tinkle razors. You get them on Amazon or at the drugstore. They're super affordable. You could buy them like in bulk. I really like these, and I keep these in my professional makeup kit to shave people that I randomly need to shave. These are amazing because they're one-time use for sanitation purposes if I'm using them as a makeup artist. So then I'll shave that person's face, I'll give it to them, then they can use it up to 3 or 4 more times before they have to dispose of it. So that's nice.
Which is nice.
But if you want something that's long-term that you'll be able to like, invest in and that's not as wasteful for the environment, basically, you'll want to get something like this. These are the Schick Hydro Silk Dermaplaning tools. So you get a tool like this. Actually, I need to replace this blade anyway. Mine is quite dirty, so please don't judge me. I've used it a lot. What you get is this product right here. When it gets dull, you take off the razor and you just stick it into a new blade. Nice and safe. It even comes with like an extra cover too, so you can just cover it up when you're done, like that. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use this bad boy on camera. I've done a couple tutorials on how to shave your face in the past, so if you haven't caught those, this is your chance to take some notes. It's really easy. It's really simple. And one thing I want to call out, on the day that you plan on shaving your face, skip the liquid exfoliator, because depending on the order in which you do these 2 steps, you could really cause a lot of irritation, okay? So I'm gonna take one for the team. I just liquid exfoliate my face. It's okay. I'm gonna be totally fine, but I don't want you to do it at home. So just something to call out. Now, there's not gonna be much that comes off because I did just shave my face recently. I wish I would have saved it for this video, but I just wasn't thinking and it was in my routine. So there's not gonna be a whole lot, but just technique-wise, this is what I want you to take away. Clean hands, of course. You wanna gently pull your skin. And I don't mean like that, okay? Even though that's quite a lovely facelift. Don't do that. I mean, just ever so gently pull your skin so it's a bit more taut, okay? That way when you're going in, you don't run the risk of snagging your skin. So by pulling it just a little tighter, you'll get a nice smooth glide. I always work in downward angles when it comes to my cheek and near my sideburns, and I do short strokes. So I'm not going like this all the way down. You run the risk of nicks and cuts when you do that. You want to keep it to short strokes. See how I'm gradually following my blade down with my fingers, pulling the skin taut as I go? That's what I want you to do. Also keep in mind, you don't want to apply a ton of pressure. This is all the pressure you want to apply. Gentle, don't dig, don't tug, slow and steady when you're shaving your face. Okay, so now when it comes to the forehead, I will actually go across my forehead and then drag it down. So for example, what I mean is I'll take it on its side and I'll get pretty close up to my hairline, to be honest. And my forehead's pretty tight. I have Botox, so it's kicked in, it's nice, it's tight. But if I didn't have Botox, I'd be stretching my skin a lot more than you're seeing me do right now. So now that, oh, actually I've got a decent amount going on. But keep in mind, I just shaved my face a few days ago, so I'm not gonna have that much on my razor. I would have a lot more if I hadn't just shaved my face, but still pretty satisfying if you ask me. Now let me show you how to go on the side of the forehead. Facing it down this time, not going across, just going straight down. And when you get to your brows, you wanna just stop. Just stop right here. Play it safe. The last thing you want to do is shave off half your eyebrow. So just slow it down that area in particular and be really, really careful. Just to complete this, I'm going to go across one more time and then even me out. Let's shave this side. And that, my friends, is how you shave your face. Now I go above my lip because again, it's not going to grow back thicker or darker. Number 3 on this list of very important steps to take to not hate the way your foundation looks is hydration. And I don't mean moisturizer. There's such a huge difference, and I do talk about this a lot. So I will try to spare so much backstory. If you've been around on my channel for a while, you know the importance already of hydration versus moisturizer. Hydration is what plumps your skin. Hydration is what gives you that glow. So it's not about just slapping a creamy, thick moisturizer on your skin, rubbing it in, and then putting your foundation on top. That's going to give you topical moisture. It's not going to give you deep hydration that penetrates your skin, that gives it that plump, gorgeous, like I have to say, like Hailey Bieber type skin, right? If you're looking for that kind of vibe and that kind of look to your skin with whatever foundation you put on top, hydration is going to be the way to go. That's the best friend. That's the key. That key unlocks that door to that makeup look. So some of my favorite hydration tools, my hydrating toners that I love, that I utilize, that I go back for, that I buy a lot and that I recommend a lot. Some of them I am sold out on, so I'll make sure I pop them on the screen. One of them being from Tear, the Milky Toning Essence, I believe it's called. I'll pop it right here. That is a no-fail, amazing, amazing product. But I do like that one the most for hydrating very dry skin. Oily skin types, I'll get you in a second, but that one's gonna be better for like more dry, at least like combination leaning dry skin, or at least mature dry skin. That's gonna be a powerhouse to hydrating your skin deeply and giving it a beautiful, bouncy, just glowy, amazing look to your skin prior to your foundation. Another one along those lines that I have in stock right now, I absolutely love so much. It's newer to me, it's newer to my life, but I have it in my professional makeup kit and I recommend it all the time. Also very accessible, very easy to get. They sell this at Target. They also sell it, of course, on the Prequel website. But Prequel, the half and half peptide and ceramide fluid moisturizer, it is thick. This one is going to feel a little bit more like a serum and essence had a baby, and it's like that kind of combination. It's still going to be incredible as your first step to like really hydrating your skin deeply. But the benefit of this one is it's going to leave you with a very well moisturized, balanced skin. So even oily skin can use this one. I am very oily and I still love this under my makeup during the day, and I still use this on clients in my makeup kit that I know are oily because it hydrates the skin and it also leaves it with a nice like solid thin lightweight layer of moisture, so that I could then go on top with just like, you know, maybe like a little glowy liquid illuminator and call it a day as far as the skin prep goes. This is a really cool product because I can use it on so many different skin types, cocktail it so many different ways to make it work for that person that is in my makeup chair. So for that reason, this is a holy grail. But Prequel is just an amazing, affordable brand. It's Dr. Sam Alice's brand, and you get a lot of product for your money. The prices are really, really reasonable, like beyond reasonable for what you get and how really well done the ingredients are. These products are just holy grails for me in my makeup kit and in my personal life. So this one is going to give you that same vibe as like, again, like the Rhode Peptide Glazing Milk. This is the same idea. So if you've ever wanted that product, but maybe you want to spend like a little less, I believe this is less expensive than that product. I haven't tried that product because I just have ones that I use instead. But this is going to be a really affordable, amazing option. So what you want to do is put this on first thing. After your liquid exfoliator, if you're using a liquid exfoliator that day, pop this right on top. And then you could either use this on its own and just do your moisturizing sunscreen and then put your foundation on top of that, call it a day. That's like a really great combination for just normal skin types. Skin types that don't need a whole lot of fuss and a whole lot of extra things. 2 steps, this with a sunscreen, and you're golden. And if you're really, really dry, another option would be put this on, follow it with a hydrating serum of your choice. Follow it with a really rich, more moisturizing sunscreen. For that, I really, really love this one from Kiehl's. It's a lot more pricey, but it's a really great product and it lays beautifully under makeup, specifically foundation. So for that reason, it's in this video, but this one just offers really great moisture, like long-term moisture. It never feels dry on your skin. It keeps you really moisturized all day long. Like the feeling would be there all day. So I love this for drier skin. Now I'm really oily, but I still love the way this feels. But I know when I wear this for my skin type, I'm going to be very, very glowy and really well moisturized throughout the day. Take what you will from that. Choose wisely. Choose according to your skin type. That's one milky toner that I love, along with the Tier milky one, and then another milky toner that I already love, and I've talked about this a million times. I still use this to this day. I love this product so much from Fenty Beauty. It's the Fenty Beauty Fat Water Hydrating Milky Toner. Now there's 2. This one specifically is the one that I want you to get for under makeup because this hydrates your skin, plumps the appearance of fine lines, will instantly penetrate your skin and instantly give it like that plumped up, beautiful, juicy, glowy look to your skin. Just like this, but it's a little bit of a thinner formula, so it's going to be really great for oily skin, normal skin, and dry skin as well. All these products too, I want to urge you, and I've talked about this a lot as well, don't just get it all over your face, bring it under your eyes. Please don't skip your under eyes, bring it everywhere. So these bad boys, along with the Tier are going to be great for more dry leaning, combination dry, but again, oily skin can make those work as well. But these next 2 I want to call out specifically because I think these are really, really ideal for truly oily skin types that still want hydration, because you still want to hydrate oily skin. Regardless of your oil throughout the day, you need to hydrate your oily skin. Your skin is, if it's really, really oily, it's probably begging you for some hydration. So give it what it needs. And that way your makeup, your foundation will look so much better if you hydrate your skin, even when it's oily. Trust me, I am born super duper oily. I get it from my mom. I just have oily skin, but for years and years, like honestly, all of my adult life, practically up until like my early 30s, was stripping it constantly, never giving it what it needed, never giving it like the proper hydration that it was craving and begging me for. And for that reason, my skin overproduced oil so much throughout the day because it was overcompensating for what it was missing. Now for really, really oily skin, I just find that these are going to be the best suited for that skin type. And dry skin can use these too, don't you worry. But for oily skin specifically, these are going to be 2 formulas that I know will work really, really well for your skin type. They will give you that plumped up effect, plump up any fine lines and wrinkles, and give you that hydration and that hydrating, beautiful glow pre-foundation. So one's a classic that I've used for a long, long time. This is a Haru Haru Wonder Black Rice Hyaluronic Toner. Great for sensitive skin as well. It's just watery, it's silky, it's easy to use, and it will not make you greasy. It will just give you balanced hydration that looks great under the makeup. So this is a holy grail, classic, very affordable formula. And a newer favorite of mine is the Anua 70 Plus Rice Ceramide Moisturizing Milky Toner. Now, this is a milky toner, but I find that this one is a really lightweight milky toner. So it's not like the prequel half and half. It's going to feel a lot more creamy, or even the Tier milky toner that I mentioned as well. That one is a lot more milky and a lot more moisturizing. So really, really great if you have dry skin or super dry skin. This one's like a lightweight version of a milky toner. So ideal for oily skin types or ideal for layering. Now let me talk to you about layering your essences and your hydrating toners. So layering your toners, okay, hear me out. This is something that I wish I would have thought up on my own, but it was actually something that I heard my friend Jen, she goes by From Head to Toe on Instagram. She's amazing. She's been around for a long time. She was talking about this in an interview and I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, Jen, like that's brilliant. Like absolutely brilliant. My mind was blown. I'm like, why didn't I think of this? It was like such a light bulb moment and it makes so much sense. So when you layer your essences and your moisturizing toners or your milky toners, you're just building up on that effect. You're just getting even more hydration, even more of that bouncy, plumped up skin, that plumped up juicy glow. You're getting more of it. So you're doubling it up, right? It's like layering your mascara. You know, you're layering it for more impact and more drama and more va-va-voom. It's the same exact idea. Or like layering your coverage. Same exact mindset, same idea. It's brilliant. Try it. If you're deeply dehydrated and you really want the utmost skin plumpness and ooey dooey, juicy, glowy skin, layer your essences. Doesn't matter which ones you're layering, honestly. I feel like you just cannot go wrong. If you're layering with something thicker, make sure you do this one last so you're sticking to the thinnest to thickest rule. If you do that, your skin will never look better. It will look so bouncy and so juicy. So thanks to Jen for calling that out because that's stuck with me and it's such a great tip. Now you can also layer your hydrating toners and essences again under the eyes. Skip the thick eye cream to get the utmost plumped, smooth, fine lines and crow's feet. They don't stand a chance. They're going to look so much smoother, so much more plump because you're giving those crevices and those fine lines, those deep fine lines, instant hydration and a pick me up. Let's start with these bad boys because these are two of my favorites. They're all amazing, but let me just show you how to use these two together. So first, thinnest to thickest. We're going to take the Anua 70%, pour it into your hand. Now what you want to do, go like this and get it all over. And I like to bring this immediately under my eyes, push it in, going back and forth and really making sure it's getting under my eyes all the way up to my lash line, okay? I was teaching one of my clients this recently, how to do this type of step before her makeup. And I was watching her do it, and I was so happy I watched her do it because I realized she was not using nearly enough. She was taking just a little bit and going like that. And I was like, you just skipped all of this. You didn't bring it down your neck, and you barely got your forehead. I'm like, we need to work on this right now because you're not getting all the benefits you deserve to have with using a milky or hydrating toner. So make sure you're getting all the way in there. So that's round one. You can either let it fully absorb. Honestly, I just layer them right on top of each other. So I'm going to go right in now with the prequel half and half. This guy's thicker. So I actually pour this into my fingertips like that. Same thing. Bring it all the way under your eyes. Push it in there, get it around the brows, get it all over your skin. Bring it down the neck. I'm going to try to avoid my top because I've stained this top so many times. And with whatever's left over, bring it on the hands, bring it around the fingers. Oh my gosh, your skin will never look better. It will never look better. And honestly, this is the trick to not hating the way your foundation looks on your skin. If you ever wondered why my skin looks like this when I start my makeup videos, it's not that I'm greasy. It's because I have loads of hydration on my skin, and then my makeup goes on regardless of the formula, regardless of if it's a really heavy foundation, regardless of if it's even a good formulated foundation, it'll still look so much better going on top of skin that looks like this than skin that is dry. Not in like the physical sense where like that's your skin type, but in like the literal sense where like it's dry, there's no hydration on it to start. So take a look. This is what your skin should look like if you do these first three very crucial, important steps to not hating your foundation. Liquid exfoliator, shave the face, load up the hydration, layer it if you need to or if you want to, and if you want that ooey, dewy, juicy, glowy skin. These three, your skin will look like this, and your makeup will never look better. Okay, one last honorable mention I want to just quickly throw out. If you are wanting to kind of ease into the whole hydrating skin prep, hydrating serums and stuff like that, a product that I want to mention is that's just really easy to throw on your skin pre-foundation as like a first step, like quite literally like the first step, the first thing that hits your skin. You can start small if you want to do something that's spray on and you don't want to pour into your hand or rub it on. The Dalba First Spray Serum. I love this product. This is an amazing product. This is a white truffle infused hydrating spray on toner basically. So you spray it on, you want to shake up the two worlds together before you spray it on. But even if you're using something like this because it's a lot quicker and more convenient and you have to worry about like products leaking down your arms or whatever it is, you still want to take the time, at least with your fingertips, to rub this in after you've sprayed it. So if you spray it, so you go all over, you'd want to use a lot more than that, but just for demonstrative purposes, you still want to rub it in and get it around your eyes. You still want to rub it in and make sure it's like fully pushed into your skin and not just sitting on top. So the whole purpose of using a milky toner or a milky essence is really pushing it and massaging it into your skin so it really penetrates your skin deeply and it's not just sitting on top. They'll penetrate to a certain extent, but you still want to help them you want to give them a little bit of a boost. You want to help them out a little bit with your fingertip. Your skin prep could be as simple as 2 products or as complicated as 4 products. 4 products would be the top, and that's if you're using and incorporating a primer into your routine. So the very least that I want you to do for your skin prep before your foundation is a hydrating toner and a moisturizing sunscreen. Both could be of your choice, but one of each has to be in your skin prep in order to not hate the way your foundation looks. And that's just the hard truth that I'm going to just lay it out there for you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You have to have 2 of these products in your routine in order to love the way your foundation looks, period. So these would be like the minimum. Hydrating toner, moisturizing sunscreen. The most would be hydrating toner and then a serum like a vitamin C or a hyaluronic acid serum and then a moisturizing sunscreen, okay? That would be like the 3 go-to. You're set, you're perfect, your skin's not going to be overworked, it's not going to be panicking, trying to figure out how to, like, what to do with all the skin prep on its skin. It's going to be just enough to give you a beautiful glow and everything you need prior to your foundation and nothing more. The 4th would be incorporating that primer if you choose to do so. However, if you do those 3 steps that I just mentioned, you don't need a primer unless you're going for like pore filling, pore smoothing, or if you're going to an event, a wedding, an all-day thing where you need to be like absolutely locked in, then primers are great. So just want to call that out for you, just to keep that in mind when you're prepping your skin. Try to stick to those 2 rules that I just threw out there, even though I hate makeup rules, but I'm telling you, your skin and your makeup will thank you later. Okay, this next tip is also crucial to your foundation looking the best it can, and that is try your best, please. And you've seen me do it before when I'm in a crunch, when I'm in a pinch, when I'm in my car doing my makeup and I don't have a painter's palette and I don't want to get makeup on my hand. But try not to just pump a whole bunch of foundation on your face. This is so unnecessary. It's so not going to look great. It's just so wasteful. And your makeup will never look as flawless and as like skin-like as it possibly can if you're utilizing this technique, okay? What this does is it just packs on way too much product, okay? And even if you need a lot of coverage, I highly encourage you to not do this because you're just wasting it. You're loading up your makeup brush, you're loading your skin up, and this layer, this thick, wet layer of foundation is never going to fully absorb and dry down. So then you need to like actually go in with more and more setting powder to lock it into place. Whereas if you just worked in thin layers and built it up, you'll get great coverage. It'll still look like skin. So instead of doing this, I want you to do this. Take your foundation. This is the Anastasia Impeccable Foundation. I love this foundation. Do 1 pump. And that's honestly too much. Just trust me. Take your brush. You're going to slowly dip into the product and you're going to work it into the brush so it's nice and even. If it looks even on your brush, it's going to look even on your skin. And then I want you to work in areas that you need the most coverage first. So for me, that's going to be the center of my face towards my nose and this inner part of my cheek. You want to work in this area and deposit the most product in this area first, so it ends up looking a lot more natural. And then as you get to areas that you need a lot less coverage, which is typically speaking, that there's always an exception to all these rules, but typically speaking, you'll need less coverage in the lower part of your face along your jawline. When you do get to this area, you just have a small thin layer of foundation left over on your brush that you can evenly distribute into this area so it looks basically undetectable, not heavy at all, and you won't have that line of like mask foundation like I have right here. Like there's a visible line. Granted, I didn't blend it in, but just for demonstrative purposes, this looks so much more detectable and so much more makeup-y, whereas this is the same foundation applied different, much different application, obviously, and it looks a lot more seamless, and I'm still getting a beautiful amount of coverage. Now, for my people out there that need more coverage, go back in, get the rest of the product that's on your hand, take the brush, and let's say this is the area where you have more concern. You want to stipple the product on in a patting or tapping, that's why I always say tap, 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 to build up the coverage where you need it. So that way you're not getting cake makeup all over. You know what I mean? It's looking nice and seamless. You're building up the coverage slowly in the areas that you need it the most, and you're working it into those areas only, and you're not creating this mask-like look to your makeup in areas that you don't need it. So if you just need coverage in certain spots, build it up in those spots. Don't apply it heavy-handed all at once. And by applying thin, lightweight layers like this, your makeup is getting a chance to breathe. There's a lot more air hitting those thin layers, so it's drying it down. It's self-setting to some extent, and you're going to end up using a lot less power to lock in this makeup than you would on this side. This side is still soaking wet because there's so much product applied all at once that it just can't dry down. It's going to take way longer, if at all, able to dry down unless you help it out and you apply a lot more setting powder on top to dry it down and to lock it into place. Whereas this side, you'll use a thin sheer amount to lock it in because it's had a chance to like absorb and to dry down on its own because it's a nice, thin, breathable layer. And even if you're using the most full coverage foundation, like let's say you use this technique with like the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, a classic, iconic, full coverage, budge-proof formula. If you work in thin, light layers and you utilize all those skin prep techniques and tips I just mentioned earlier, even this kind of foundation that could typically sit very heavy on people's skin will look like your skin, but better. So I just took that foundation off of this side. Let me just show you for demonstrative purposes this full coverage foundation that I was just talking about, the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup. I already shook this up off camera. I'm gonna pour a little bit, just a little bit onto the top of my hand. There we go. Okay, small amount of the Estee Lauder Double Wear. Now I wanna go over really quickly just the actual technique and the application of applying your foundation, because that can also lead to whether or not you like the way your foundation looks and sits on your skin. So for example, same brush, the N17 brush, I'm gonna dip into the Estee Lauder and I'm gonna pick up the product. Now notice it's not evenly distributed on my brush. There's a big chunk in the middle. So that means when you go on, it's not gonna be evenly applied to your skin and you're gonna have to work a little bit harder to get this to look as flawless as it does on this side. So another technique that I don't want you to use, and I want you to avoid this, especially when you're using brushes that have longer fibers. The N17 has long fibers. You can see they're long. The haircut and like the layers start as low as here, but overall the fibers are long. So if you use this like that, because this has longer fibers, it's gonna look streaky. So in order to not have your longer fiber brush like your N17, if you have this brush, not look streaky, you don't want to just paint it on, okay? That's the last thing you want to do. We're not painting a house. We're not painting a front door. We're painting our face, and we don't want it to look like we're painting it. So avoid long, drag down streaks on your face. First of all, you never want to be dragging down your face. I don't care if you're 22 years old. You don't want to drag down your face when you're putting your foundation on. Instead, we're going to dip back in to the Estee Lauder. We're going to tap it on to the brush. We're going to get it nice and even. And instead of dragging it, I want you to focus on stippling it. Now stipple when you need the most coverage, right? Stipple and pat it in and tap it in to get the utmost coverage. And in the areas you want to be a little bit more natural, take your brush and you can even go back and forth, okay? You can buff it long but not aggressive strokes. So I'm not going like this with my skin. I'm just going back and forth. I'm hitting light pressure to give it a really soft, like almost airbrush effect to this foundation. And again, tapping it on where I want more coverage. You can mix tapping like this with short strokes and short buffing motions. Especially when it comes to around your nose. I really like to go back and forth with the N17 and really get in there just like that. So things to avoid, one more time, long drag down strokes, especially with a longer fiber brush. That will give you those streaks, which is never cute, never looks good. Instead, push it in, tap it on, press it onto your skin, and then the areas you want more natural, light buffs back and forth, and you are good to go. And there's no way you won't like even the most full coverage, more heavy foundation formula like this one. If you utilize all these steps, if you wrap them all up together, put a bow on them, you are going to be always loving your foundation. So Estee Lauder, Anastasia Impeccable, also applied the right way. Both are fantastic formulas, and both will be all day wears, that's for sure. Okay, this next tip is so underrated and so overlooked, it's not even funny. And it's something that we all kind of need this constant reminder, to be quite honest. And it's something that I encounter on a regular basis when I don't clean my makeup brushes and I realize I've done a makeup look and it's all the same products that always work together. They always sit well together. It's on top of skin prep that is a no-fail skin prep. But for some reason, it's not laying and it's not looking as flawless as it typically does. And usually, more times than not, it always comes down to if I've used dirty makeup brushes. And there's levels to how dirty your makeup brushes can be where it's passable. But for foundation brushes specifically, if you are not washing your foundation brush at least twice a week, if you only have limited amounts of them. Now, listen, for me, I'm a makeup artist, I'm a makeup wearer, I have my own makeup brushes. I have a lot more makeup brushes than the average person would ever need to have. So that's me. And I can go a lot longer without washing my foundation brushes. But let's say you're someone at home and you have 2 foundation brushes, okay? You want to make sure you're not going more than like 4 to 5 makeup applications with your foundation before you wash that foundation brush. So complexion brushes are a little bit more tricky, whereas like eyeshadow brushes, eyeliner brushes, blending brushes in the crease, blush brushes, powder bronzer brushes, even cream bronzer brushes, those have a lot more time before you really need to wash them before they start affecting the way your makeup looks and the overall outcome of your makeup. Whereas foundation brushes, that is one of the quickest ways to make your makeup sit on your skin in an unflattering way, to look patchy, to look gunky, and to look like it's separating as well. So a lot of separation can be caused from using a dirty foundation brush. So let me just show you the difference between a clean N17 and one that I've used for probably, I don't know, 10 days straight at this point, and that really needs a washing. It may look okay. And listen, no shade to this N17. This will still lay down your foundation really beautifully. But could it look better? Yes, absolutely. Your makeup and your foundation specifically will always look best when you're applying your foundation with a clean brush, or at least at minimum, it's only been used 2, 3, 4 times tops. Okay, so if you're using a really dusty, crusty, residue filled, old, dried down, foundation filled brush it's got different kinds of formulas on it too, like oily formulas, skin tints, full coverage cream formulas. If it's got a melting pot of different formulas on it, including like dust from being sit out on your makeup table or your counter, it's just not going to apply your foundation as beautifully as it possibly can. So this is something that is really important, very overlooked, and a very underrated tip in order to make your foundation look gorgeous and to love the way it looks on your skin. Try your best to use clean tools when it comes to your complexion. Another tip, when you're applying foundation, in order not to hate the way it looks on your skin, in the areas you have more fine lines, deep line, expression lines, anything like that. So let's say you have horizontal lines, right? Horizontal lines going across your forehead. Again, I don't, because I get Botox. Okay, so I do have these little guys right here. They're trying to peek through, but they really can't. They're having a really hard time. But if you do have horizontal lines, and if they're deep to a certain degree, and you're loading your forehead up with foundation, when you express and you use emotion throughout the day, you emote, and you're talking, and you're thinking, and you're doing all those things, the more foundation you have on those areas specifically, the more it's going to crease and settle into those fine lines. So when you're applying your foundation in these areas, I want you to just keep in mind thinner, more lightweight layers, and try to avoid just overall packing too much product in those specific areas. So try to buff it out. Let's say you forget. Let's say you apply a really heavy hand of your foundation in this area. One thing you can do before you go in and set it with powder, you could take a smaller brush, okay? You could take a smaller brush like my N16 or any brush that has longer fibers at the tip. I specifically designed this brush to be able to scoop out and blend out any creases under the eyes. So like right here. But the same thing can be applied, the same rule of thumb can be applied if you're trying to scoop out excess product that you might have accidentally applied in those areas where you have some deeper lines. So for example, the forehead, you'd want to go in, scoop out that excess product, okay? Making sure there's just barely anything in those areas, keeping the coverage where you want it, but being very precise and scooping out that excess product where you don't need it, where it's going to settle into fine lines, crow's feet, and wrinkles. So same thing, you would scoop it out of these areas. And same thing if you have smile lines. I get this comment a lot. People have smile lines. I don't have smile lines. I have like the beginnings of jowls. But when I'm working with clients and we're getting to that area of the faces of a concern where you don't want makeup to settle into those areas, taking a small brush like this one, and before the makeup is finished, before you set it, before you've locked into place, go over this area and gently buff out the excess. If you do that before you set it into place, you're gonna love the way it looks so much better. And it's not gonna look heavy in those areas where you don't want to magnify, the fine lines or the smile lines or the crow's feet or whatever it is. Buff out that excess product so it's nice and sheer in those areas, keeping the coverage where you want it and not where you don't need it, so it doesn't settle into those areas of concern. All right, last but not least, let's talk about setting that foundation so you love the way it looks and you continue to love the way it looks. A lot of the times your foundation could look beautiful and then you go to put powder on top. You either go on too heavy-handed, you apply too much, you apply the wrong powder, and then you end up hating the way your foundation looks because of the powder. Typically, it's not the powder's fault. It's the application and how much you're using and the way you're using it. So let me talk to you about how to use powder to set your foundation so you don't hate the way it looks. First of all, you want to grab a good powder. Don't just grab a thick, compact pressed powder. Compact pressed powders are not setting powders. They're more like finishing powders, touch-up powders, refinement powders. Setting powders are going to be in the loose form, and loose powders are the most sheer, the most lightweight, the most breathable, the most undetectable, and they're going to feel the least heavy on your skin, and therefore they're going to look the least heavy on your skin. So you're going to want to pick a loose setting powder, not a pressed, to set your makeup. So setting powder is going to come in a loose form. I've been loving this one from the drugstore. It's the L'Oreal Blur Fection powder. It's the infallible powder. It's an up to 24-hour blurring, brightening, loose setting powder. I find this one's great for all skin types. It's also really amazing for oil control as well, but it's still very lightweight, still very breathable, and it's not going to make you feel dry. So even if you have dry skin, you're still going to be able to wear this. If you have dry, mature skin, if you have young, dry skin, you're still be able to wear this powder, and it's going to feel really lightweight, and it's not going to bother you. But there's always an exception to the rule. If you apply too much, then you're not going to like the way it looks. So let me show you a simple technique to apply your powder to lock your makeup into place where it's not going to go overboard and make you hate your foundation. So take your powder, take whatever is in the shaker and either dump some into the cap like that. Take a small brush to start, tap off the excess, but to be sure that you have a really small amount, a really thin layer of powder, just like your foundation. You want to pre-blend it into the palm of your hand because you want the warmth. You don't need the top. This is not going to warm it up. You want to put in the palm of your hand where you can really get into the grooves and the bristles of the brush. Then you're going to want to go in and apply light pressure to lock in your makeup. Now, what I want you to keep in mind is start in the T-zone. I also need to set my under eyes because I put concealer on before I started talking about this part. So let me lock in my concealer. But what you want to focus on when you're just starting out with powder and placement, in order not to go too heavy and too intense with your powder and your setting, you want to stick to the T-zone or any areas where you have larger pores or any kind of skin texture where you're going to end up producing more oil throughout the day. And any other areas of your face where it's like a low traffic zone, you can avoid those areas altogether with powder. You do not need to set your entire face with powder. I promise you that. Even for like budge-proof makeup, you really don't need to lock in the entire face, to be quite honest. You really just need to focus on the T-zone the most. So right between the brows and the smallest part of your forehead right here, above your brows too if you're an oily person like me. Go back for more. Swirl it in, hit the side of your nose. Now, if your nose gets really, really shiny all over, then you could go over top the whole nose, okay? So same thing, continuing the T-zone, I'm gonna hit the top of my chin. And I really like to get around my lip, especially if you sweat above your lip. This is a really great place to place a thin amount of loose setting powder, not pressed powder again. And of course, under your eyes, but that's a whole different topic. I'm just gonna set my under eyes into place because I have concealer there now. So locking that in. Now, in order to keep the control when it comes to setting your makeup, if you use a small brush like the N14 brush, this is designed to set the makeup under the eyes, but you can also use this for precisely setting your T-zone and any small areas of your face so you don't go overboard with your powder application. But make sure when you're using a small brush like this, that you're not going in and the brush doesn't look like that, because that's going to overwork your face. It's going to make your foundation look a lot heavier than it once did. So make sure you're tapping off the excess, and that's why I say swirl it into the palm of your hand to get a nice even application. So that way when it hits your skin, it's a really thin, even layer of powder that doesn't look heavy in certain areas and doesn't look cakey. Now let's say you're really oily and this T-zone only is not going to be helpful for you and you want to set the entire face, then switch to a larger brush. This is my N15 powder brush. Dip into the powder in the cap, same technique, swirl it in, and then you just want to dust it lightly, very lightly, back and forth. Now you don't want to aggressively go in there like this. This is what you don't want to do. This will destroy your makeup. You just want to take a little bit, light, delicate strokes like that. In order to make sure you're not applying too much pressure, pull the brush back, and this will give you really, really soft application with the least amount of pressure. And that would be how you lock in your makeup all over and how you specifically lock in the T-zone. Now, final tip to not hate the way your foundation looks is after you set your entire base, your whole makeup is locked in, your under eyes, your cheeks, your chin, your forehead, everything is locked in with powder. Now you'll notice your face is going to look a little dull, and that's normal. You want to bring back life and vibrancy and glow and a skin-like look to your complexion after you've set it. Now it may sound counterintuitive to then put more hydration and glow back on your skin after you just took the time to set into place perfectly with powder. But here's the thing, in order to really love the way your foundation and all the layers of makeup that you have on your skin, in order to love the way it looks on your skin as you're wearing it, you just need to go back in with something that's going to rehydrate, bring that skin-like quality back to your complexion. And trust me, when you work at all these thin layers, they they just all make sense. They all create this cohesive, beautiful look to your makeup. Don't skip this step. Good setting sprays are going to bring back that skin-like glow, that skin-like look. It will take away that powdery finish, therefore take away that makeup-y look to your skin, and it will lock your makeup into place, settling it so it's like it's married. It's like they shook hands and now they're together forever. Like they're solid. They're not going anywhere now. So setting sprays, underrated. Don't skip them. Now there's so many setting sprays on the market. I love so many. I am a setting spray connoisseur. I collect them at this point. I'm like basically, I might as well open a shrine of setting sprays. That's how much I love them and utilize them. And I like to try them all. I like to put them all to the test. I am a setting spray aficionado. Okay. I'm like the Salt Bae. I'm like the setting spray bae. You know, I'm just going to go spray you. Okay, so these three are some of my favorites. Tried and true. This one looks horrendous because I pulled it from my makeup kit and I lost the cap. So Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Setting Spray. This is my holy grail, okay? This is the one that I cannot do makeup without. Literally, I will not put makeup on anyone's skin. I will not do makeup without this setting spray. In fact, I need to buy another one because I'm running low. This will do all the things I just mentioned, plus lock in your makeup. Now, the Vive Invisiveil, this one is amazing, but this one does give a little bit more glow. So I will just go out and say, if you are wanting a slightly more glowy formula out of the three that I'm about to talk about, then this is the one to get. This one does also contain fragrance, so just something to call out. For one thing, it smells fantastic and it feels amazing on your skin. And drugstore wise, the Milani Make It Last is an OG classic, no fail. Everyone can use this and it's an amazing, affordable setting spray. And I've talked about this before, but it's an alternative, a very affordable alternative to the Airbrush from Miss Charlotte Tilbury. Now for this video, I kind of missed this one because I've been out of mine for a really long time. So I'm just going to show you how this will instantly take away that powdery finish. It will settle the makeup into place and it will just make everything come together in a cohesive puzzle and a perfectly baked pie. Okay, so Charlotte Tilbury, with all your setting sprays, shake them up. They all need to be shaken up, trust me. Shake it up, do a test spray, tilt your head up, take a deep breath. That was 8 sprays. Let it fall down onto your skin. Let it dry down. You can speed this up with a fan, but if not, you don't even need to. Let this dry down and you'll be left with the most skin-like look to your foundation and your makeup application. So all those thin layers that we just built up, this just finishes the look, gives it that skin-like glow, and it will lock your makeup in all day long. So use at least 8 sprays like I just did, and you'll be good to go. And these are my ultimate tips and tricks and all my best practices in order to help you not hate the way your foundation looks. So if you've ever had a problem, if you ever looked in the mirror and thought, wow, my skin looked better without the foundation on, if you use all my steps and all my tricks and techniques, I promise you, you will never hate the way your foundation looks ever again. So cheers, my friends, to not hating the way your foundation looks on your skin, regardless of the formula. If you try any of these techniques or all of them, I'll be so proud of you. Leave your feedback in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Hi. Oh my god, wait, I gotta take a picture of you. Are you serious?
I figured you'd want both.
Wait, are you?
You know, you gotta have a sip of each, a sip of each.